Welcome back. We're going to conclude our discussion of pastoral burnout and talk a little bit about self-care. I don't know if congregations really know what their pastor has to do. What do you think congregations' perspectives are on the pastor's job?
Perspective or expectations?
Well, a little of both, but sometimes they only see us in the pulpit on Sunday morning sometimes.
Yeah, so they think we preach, and then what do you do the rest of the week, right? Mm-hmm. And that we're not being funny when there are lots of people that think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people ask me that. We were talking a little while ago about the fact I remember my own kids didn't know what I did. I overheard my youngest son, talking with us. They were comparing what their dads did, and there was a kid whose dad was a doctor, and this guy was a businessman. What did he do? And then they asked Cody what he did, and he said his dad ate with people. Because he saw me going out to lunch and breakfast with guys that had real jobs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I had a young man walk into my office. I was a youth pastor at the time, and he said, "So you just play all day? Is that what you do? You just play in all the games and hang out and play all day?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, okay, let's talk about this."
Which may explain why pastors don't always feel the kind of support they'd like to feel, because people don't realize what they're going through, what they're dealing with. The emotional roller coaster where you're preaching a funeral one day, conducting a wedding the next, and being at a birth of a newborn and the death of a loved one, and just all that you're dealing with. And so just that sense of what can congregations do for pastors that you think would be helpful to the pastor? Informing them, it sounds like, number one, in terms of letting them know that this is more than just a Sunday morning kind of job. But beyond that, what are some things that you think pastors would really find helpful from their congregations?
I don't think it's trite to say I wish they would pray for us and really intercede for us, and I think maybe to help them know what to pray for more, that could be helpful. So really praying for your pastor, that's a big deal.
Yeah, so they need to know what to pray for, and it would help, certainly. So that would be an opportunity to let them know some of the things that are going on. I know some churches do pastor appreciation kind of days. Anything that expresses encouragement, understanding goes a long way.
Yes.
Where it feels like, they get it, they appreciate what you do. That matters.
I think embracing the rhythms of rest that someone in ministry needs, and actually everyone needs, a weekly day of rest. The seasonal rest. Every year, 3 times a year, the Israelites would go to Jerusalem and they would celebrate and they would eat at the temple and all of that. These are these seasonal times. And then we have the sabbatical rest every 7 years. That there is a need for a pastor to take this kind of sabbatical rest, to get away, to really completely unplug. Because one of the things that's different about ministry than some other occupations is the spiritual battle that a minister is a part of. Yeah. There is a spiritual responsibility and weight that they carry that really can drain a person over time. And that battery needs that systematic recharging.
I mean, the way, when you talk about that, John, it makes me think about a rhythm. We need to find a healthy rhythm as a pastor, and then out of that rhythm, things are going to happen that aren't rhythmic. But when you have a rhythm, i.e. that personal time or a regular time where you're prepping to preach, but you're not always doing that.
Come on.
Time for taking care of your body, physically taking care of your body.
Being with your family, your wife, your kids.
Absolutely. And I know as we go through the Gospels, the Gospel writers tell us that it was Jesus' custom to. He would, Mark 1:35, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he went out to a solitary place where he prayed. And he had these rhythms. I really see that, and I appreciate that. And so in my own life, I'm doing a lot better now than I did early of having a rhythm of those things. Our family, every Sunday when we get home, we take the obligatory, we shut down, and I get back in the bed, and we take a nap, and we shut down, and then our family comes together that night, and it's nacho night. And we have nachos, and we shut down, and we have a Sabbath.
Yeah.
We've built that into our rhythm, and now our kids used to fight it. Now they love it, and they're making their kids do it. It's really funny.
Yeah,
So
one of the challenges is for those who are bivocational.
That's good.
Finding time for rhythms of rest are really difficult. And so part of their rhythm is actually saying no to many things in ministry.
Boundaries, that's good.
And really creating those strong boundaries of this is my 1 degree, this is where I need to focus, and really allowing others to step in and play their role. But it's a great challenge for people who are bivocational.
That's good.
Another reality here, we have to help our leadership, train our leadership so that they're clear about expectations. As Bill said, you talk about funerals and marriages and baptisms and on and on and on. That list goes on. And they have that expectation. You know, I had a member that just went to the hospital last night, and the wife called. She expected you to be at, okay? And so I think it's important for the pastor and leadership to have some understanding of those expectations, and then some reality when you can't meet them, because people do get offended. And that's why we need, you know, you may be the pastor, but you have deacons, whoever, that can help you with that.
Absolutely.
But it needs to be in place because you can't do everything,
No,
not all
you
the time.
Well, and I think it's not just how do you protect and care for the pastor in those kinds of things. I think it's also the spouse and the
Yes.
kids, and how do we take care of a whole family so that people are healthy and whole at home and able to breathe in that. And what I wonder, I mean, just thinking back about just my own ministry career, I mean, it's been over 30 years hanging out with God's people on purpose, trying to love and lead people. And what would it look like to have someone say, I will go to bat for your kid. You know, I will not expect something different from your kid than I would expect from somebody else in the congregation. And I will not judge you as a parent because your kid's having a moment. You know, so what does it look like not to just take care of the leader, but to go, this whole system needs care and needs protection. And if we don't, the consequences are terrible.
And Carrie, don't you think it's incumbent on us as the pastors, and it takes a while to grow that kind of culture?
Yeah.
So we have to have the boundaries that Bill spoke about, but we have to have this culture that there are going to be some people that get rubbed wrong.
Yeah.
I can't be at every one of those. I just can't.
Yeah.
But I have trained people
Come
who
on.
can, and you get through a little of those hiccups because they're going to be upset, aren't they? Come
They're
on.
gonna be upset.
Yeah, they're going to be upset. But if we train people to do that, after a while, it can take a few years. We have a culture where we've imparted to others who do that, and that we do that when we can and are supposed to,
Yeah.
but there are others who help us.
Yes.
So once again, we come right back to where we started from, in a sense, sort of knowing what am I supposed to do? What am I called to do? And how do I stay focused on that and not let myself get distracted by all the other things people may want from me? Thanks a lot, you guys, for your input. I appreciate the discussion. Great conversation. If any of you have felt called to the ministry, or you're currently in the ministry and you identify with any of the things we've been talking about, look us up at oru.edu on our website, the College of Theology and Ministry. We offer preparation for ministry that's not just focused on knowledge and skills, but actually on formation, trying to help you manage some of the stresses that you're dealing with. So if we can help, we would love to do that. We wish God's blessing upon you and your calling as you follow his leading.